And welcome back out to Hometown Pizza, Clark's Corner, right here in Adrian. Best breakfast pizza around anywhere. My favorite, probably my favorite foods is the breakfast pizza here at Hometown Pizza. But Jeff Bowman, Fred Smith, and now we've brought in Danny Rogers. 7 years now at Hudson, 58-12. Pretty good winning percentage.
Yeah, a lot of good kids, that's for sure.
But, a heck of a year last year. Getting all the way to Ford Field, which is the goal for anybody every year. And came up a little short, but, you've lost some really good players, but you've brought back a lot this year, too. So it's got to be another high expectation year for Hudson Tiger football.
Oh, for sure. I think in our community and around us, the expectations are always high, right?
Yes, they are.
But for us as a program, our expectations are going to show up every day and work hard. And when we talk about, we don't really set goals. I think everybody's got the same goals. Ours is more our vision. And as a program, our vision is, compete for championships. And whatever that means, that's what our focus is in the end. Are we competing for championships?
Yeah, you start off right off the bat with a tough Hanover Horton team. They lost in the regionals last year to Schoolcraft, but a team that, they know how to win too.
Oh, they're tough.
It's a good
they're really
week
good.
one.
Yeah, they're really good. You watch that. They were a play, one or two plays away from beating Schoolcraft. And their top players, all their skill players are back. They've got speed. It's a tremendous challenge week one, but I love it because that's what makes the offseason even better when you know you're going to open up with somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, talking about some losses, you lose a guy in Grayson Bills that, the last 2 years been such a great, weapon on offense and defense for you guys. Player. And, Cole Perry, what he did at that quarterback spot, able to, you were able to do a lot of different things with him back there. And, those are two tough guys to lose for sure. Malachi on the line as well as another guy, but
you could keep going down the list.
Yes, we could.
That's
we
for sure.
Could,
we
but,
lost some good ones.
But you bring back some guys. The D8 Player of the Year and Beckett Campbell. That's a nice guy to kind of build around, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. We lost, and last year's group was a great group, and you talk about. Losing them, and Grayson's at Adrian now, just number one high character kid.
Yep.
Him and Colt, and that old line that we had. Seeing them all graduate, we got a lot of places to fill, but that's high school football. That's the beauty. Every year has its own identity, and now we're going to create what's the identity of this group. But when you look at it, we do have some good building pieces. When you look at Beckett and you look at Cohen,
yes,
them coming back, and then what are the pieces around them? And we're going to have some young kids. We'll probably have 7 sophomores, maybe a freshman playing, but they're a talented group, and they got a lot of time last year, actually. So we're super excited for them to get the opportunity.
One thing about it, too, you've got, Cohen that's, committed to Iowa State, but that doesn't mean other people probably will still not recruit him in this day and age. You got a guy like Beckett that, there's going to be recruitment with him as well. And so, that's a nice thing for every other kid that's on the team, too, going, if I step up, people are going to see me because they're coming to see somebody else, and I might show myself.
Oh, for sure, and we saw that with Cohen. In the offseason, it was crazy. Coaches showing up and, coming to talk, and once they look at his film and look at him, they see some others. So he's opened some doors for others. But the good thing is with him and Beckett, their focus right now is on us and with their teammates, and they're not focused on the other stuff.
Coach, last year, because you jumped out on so many teams, I happened to see your young guys play a lot when we announced,
Yeah.
And they really executed well. That was the thing. They executed what you wanted well, it's just they didn't have the offensive line. So talk about who are the big people that are going to come in and help.
Yeah, we got a
year.
great young group, and like you said, I think we're going to have 6, 7 sophomores, freshmen come up. And a lot of these sophomores earned varsity letters last year as freshmen because they did play a lot.
Yeah.
Royce Beal taking over at quarterback, another, kind of fits our mode, with running our type of offense and what we do. He'll do a great job. And we got to go with Beckett in the backfield. We have senior Owen Loop, who's had a great offseason, much bigger and faster. Look forward to him running the football. And then younger kids, Drew Sells, very fast. And then the Kimball brothers, they're sophomores, and they're very physical kids on both sides of the ball. So we go down the list. It's a good group.
Yeah, I mean, Royce, 3 completed passes last year.
Yeah, there you go. No, he didn't come in at a time when we're going to throw, but he can throw the ball.
Right.
So
I thought back to the pinch days where a pass is a trick play, but you have opened it up more. But as you said, when Royce was in there, you weren't opening up that playbook.
No, right. And then he just runs our offense well. Our offense is more about ball handling. Ball fakes this and get the ball to the right person. So.
Well, again, when you have a Beckett and you have Cohen Heinzman leading the way, that's one thing, because people are going to try to stop Beckett. So it's the other guys. I mean, like last year, Grayson coming into the season was everybody was going to let's stop Grayson, and Beckett said, okay, now you got to stop me. So now there's going to be people kind of trying to stop Beckett, and you got to have those other guys step up.
Absolutely right. And for ours, maybe it's more of a committee this year.
Yeah.
But you got to have that. You can't have everybody just on Beckett and there's no one else. The others got to take advantage of it. And I think we got 4 or 5 running backs that will be able to do that, and you're going to have to respect them. And then we got some good kids on the edge. And some length and some receivers that can go catch the ball if we need to.
Yeah.
Coach, who do what's the league look like? I know it's obviously one of the toughest leagues in the state, but
it is. I mean,
who are some of the emerging teams other than the big 3?
I was going to say, when you look at it, I think we're all chasing Clinton. What they got coming back, what they've been building. Casey and his staff have done a great job. I think we're all, when you look at it this year, we're chasing Clinton. Ida's always right there. And then the other ones, a lot of them were young, and, for some of them last year was a down year, but I expect them to get back up, because one of the things with the league is we got tremendous coaching staffs, and it's no different. Even though we got some new ones, you look at them, there's great coaches, and it's always a challenge.
Right. I noticed the end of the year you end up with Berrien Springs, too, and last year they were pretty good. You thumped them,
Yeah, they were pretty good. We played well. And they were pretty good, and they got a lot back. Their quarterback is one of the fastest kids in the state. And that's one thing with our schedule. We look down through that and think of the teams we're going to see and the teams, the players they have. You look at Hanover and the Clintons and the Idas and Berrien Springs. Right. There's athletes everywhere, so we're going to have our hands full. There's going to be a lot of sleepless nights getting ready for those teams.
Yeah, there will be. That's for darn sure. But, again, a good year. Last year, I mean, opening up with Fowler was a team that you thought, okay, that's a good challenge. And
the year before they beat us up pretty good.
Yes.
So it was a good week.
Yeah, that was but we've got you on a couple times this year. We're going to do the Hanover Horton game. We're heading up there. Obviously, we'll have the Clinton game, and we're doing the Ida game as well too.
Oh, so nice! That's always I think 4 or 5 years in a row we've been down at half, and it's a 1-possession game at the end. So it's a great game.
So again, after all last year, and Fred made a good point with those guys getting so much experience towards the end of the year. I know. Again, it was some of the mop-up duty. And you and I have talked, too, a little bit about where, they were a little disappointed. Maybe they give a touchdown or something, but, and maybe lost a game that could have been a zeros on the board. But having the experience they had and going as far as they did with all those extra weeks of practices and that, it's got to make this year's start a lot easier for you, because they've gone through so much and they've seen what varsity practices are like and how to go through that. So preparing for week 1 has got to be an easier preparation for you this year than maybe some of the other years.
No, you're for sure. When you make a postseason run, that's a lot of extra practices for those students. And they've done a great job, and the summer's been great for them. So we are, if you think about it, and we're playing 6, 7, 8 sophomores and freshmen, usually you're behind a little bit. I think this group's ahead of where they should be. Again, we're nowhere near where we were last year, week 1.
Right.
But I think if the kids trust the process, the ceiling of this team's pretty high.
Yeah, that's got to be the thing. And again, looking at your schedule, too, it's kind of nice because, not to say any weeks are weeks off, but you got a very tough Hanover to start with. Then you got Onstead, Blissfield that are both, really kind of on rebuilds. Mm-hmm. Then a Madison still, they're going to be okay, but they lose Dopp, so they got to try to figure that out in the new head coach. Then you got a Dundee and a Clinton. Then Hillsdale, where they're at typically. Then you finish with Ida and Berry Springs. So you have some, you can't say take off weeks, but you have some weeks that you might be able to get some guys in to do some different things and not have to worry about us playing our best game every week.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't go into it that way. I tell you that.
Well,
Again,
that's what we
guys
can think
say that all
like
you
that.
want,
Coaches, I know, think differently.
If you think that one week, you're going to have a rude awakening. We are going to focus every week. And, again, good staffs. And you look at the Madisons, and I think what Bill's going to do with them, they're going to be throwing that ball all over the place, and they got tremendous athletes. So it's always going to be a challenge. We're at Stockbridge with Durand and Michigan Center.
That's great. That
so it's good scrimmage.
And you get different flavors of teams. You do that always?
We try to. Yep, Durand was a good addition. So we try to see that so we can see a little bit of each different offense, defense, that type of thing.
Yeah, that makes it nice. I mean, especially because with this league, you
see everything.
You do.
You see everything.
And that's, that's what makes this league so fun, too, is because, you do have some wide opens and, you've got the guys, like, Clinton every year. I mean, they're changing with their personnel, with what Whelan's able to do and, how they were able to expand. Kind of like last year with you guys. I mean, you were able to expand your offense compared to where you were. So you have to make teams think a little bit differently when you prepare each week. And so that's always the thing about you guys and what you have to do is, each week you've got to be prepared for a different style of offense.
You do. You see a lot. But when it comes down to us, it's fundamentals, and we're still going to be no matter what the formation. It's all about can you run the ball? Can you stop the run?
Stop the run.
And are you a physical football team? That's a big part of it.
Yeah. And again, you look at your staff has been around, a long time with Jeremy there, and then you've got Bovee, and so you've got guys that have been with you for a while and around the program and know what this is all about, and that's got to make it nice too for you as the head coach to be able to put trust in guys.
No, I think it's important. We had our staff meeting this morning, and I'm so blessed with that staff and I'll say all the way K-12.
Yeah.
I do a clinic with our middle school coaches, and then last week I did one of the youth coaches. So just seeing the coaches we have K-12 and how they are doing, running our system and doing our thing, it's so great for these kids.
Well, it makes it easier every year, too. Terminology and things that they come in.
It's good for the kids. Yeah. They just know it. And our kids get coached hard and get coached well throughout the year, not just football. So that's what I like, is knowing the coaches and all the other sports. And our kids are getting coached well and getting coached hard and throughout the year.
Yeah. Well, again, Danny, it's always nice to have you in to talk a little Hudson Tiger football. And it's going to be another great year, and we're looking forward to again, seeing you on a few different times on the field, and good luck with things.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate everything you guys do, and thanks for having me on.
All right. Once again, Coach Dan Rogers from Hudson, and then